right, another episode of Potato Podcast. We got Andy in Chicago. Came up to visit me yesterday. Met with a couple of customers. Got some really cool stuff in the future planned out. I think some really great projects.
Yeah,
that's starting. We just it's been a while. Last time I was in St. Louis, we did one. I think it's been maybe about a month and a half.
Longer, actually.
Yeah, so we missed you guys. I hope you've missed us. So we wanted to put something out there for you. What have you been up to?
Well, of course,
during these crazy times.
So we've all been, quarantined away. I was fortunate because we have a facility in Arnold, Missouri, which basically it was just me, so I didn't have to quarantine myself. And we're doing some development work there. We did some development work on Dispense, did some development work on a new filler, which we'll have out soon, which is basically a tabletop filling machine.
No, I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, and we're talking about, ridiculously low prices for that. And this will actually go into a case that you can put in the trunk of your car.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
You can, super mobile.
Yeah.
Anybody can pick it up, move it around. Anybody can work it.
Yeah.
Straightforward.
And not only can be used to fill kegs, you can use it to as a pump to move product from one place to another.
Sure.
Transfer pump.
Yeah.
And I think fortunately, I think what we've done really is the COVID thing is obviously is a problem, and we're not happy that people have been dying out of this and whatever. But sometimes you just have to take what opportunities are given to you, and it actually given us an opportunity to look at what's going out there. So,
that was one of my favorite things with our meeting yesterday was our customer said, times have been tough for sure, but this is a great time for planning.
Exactly.
And I loved when he said that because that's what we've been trying to do is, still help our customers out with their business, innovating new things to boost sales for both ends. But I love that because, like you said, you've been quarantined. I always call it your laboratory. Yes. And I wish you almost did this when you're talking about the things you're developing.
Right. Yeah.
But no, it is great that even though what's going on, that we've had time to think about down the road right now. We had a curveball, pretty big curveball thrown in everybody's lap.
Yeah.
And so what are things that we can do to help people out?
Yeah. So
I know that a bunch of breweries were taking a hit because they couldn't get their kegs into bars or restaurants anymore. Yeah. So then curbside sales has really gone up. So I know what we're bringing out. Growlers.
Growlers, yeah. We got PET growlers. Have the same barriers that our kegs have. So which is actually, as good as glass. They're a lot lighter, of course. They're cheaper as well. And I know with the environment we're in, returnable growlers is not possible, right? So,
yeah.
And there's been a shortage of growlers. So we have these growlers available now. They're great, lightweight.
It's crazy. It's just like I'm used to picking up a growler, and this is just like it's like a feather. And I love that, like you said, like it's a bummer that I can't bring the 10 glass growlers that I've got anymore back to breweries to fill. Even if I put them in an autoclave, they're still not going to take them. So now for them to offer a cheaper replacement program, and be able to just throw it in a recycling bin when you're done using it.
Yeah, but they also can be reused.
And they can be reused for sure.
But where I think that there's advantages because of this curbside thing, obviously these are, people come up and hand you the growler or hand you whatever it is, cans or whatever. And you don't want, do you really want to stop and pack it correctly? You can actually put it in the back of the car.
Sure.
And if
you have to put a seatbelt over the glass growler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have
put pillows back there.
And then, with the glass, whether it bottles or a growler, and you get home and it's smashed or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you
don't get to get smashed.
No, exactly. So one of the other areas is we're really excited about is we have now a 10-litre keg.
It's so cute. I love it.
Exactly the same as our regular keg, same sort of fittings and so forth. But this really is so we've looked at this a number of times. So, great home keg, right? So So if 10 litres is more, obviously, the number of growlers, it makes sure that because you dispense it, whether you dispense it with a hand pump or whether you dispense it with gas, it's going to be a much better product. It's small enough that it'll fit in the fridge quite easily. There's a number of options. So one thing we've been looking at actually is these will come in boxes, so they're easy to carry. But we're working with a box manufacturer.
I'm super pumped for this.
Yeah, and what this is depends how old you are, but someone as old as me remembers the old beer ball. And the old beer ball, which was done by Anheuser-Busch, by Coors, Genesee, a number of breweries, Pittsburgh Brewing, I believe. Basically, the keg came in a box, and the box had a liner in it, and you could put ice in it, carry the box to an event, you're cooling it, and then you can put a hand pump on there. And these hand pumps you can purchase for less than $25, and they're reusable. You can use them time and time again, and you got your party going, right? That's why it's called the party ball. So admittedly, those were larger kegs. They were 20 litres, and actually to have 20 litres in a party is fine if you've got enough people.
Sure.
And in the environment we're at the moment, you can't have too many people. So this would be great for home consumption, whether you just have it for yourself or whatever, or a number of people. So it's like you can have a keg. You've got the cooling for it, whether you've just put ice into a bucket or ice into the box. You've got a little air pump dispense system, which is about $25, and you've got draft beer at very little cost. And there's no waste.
And not just beer. Wine, coffee, kombucha.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You have the 20 people that you're allowed to have in your patio for 4th of July. You've got a killer local brew.
Yeah.
And then you've got some awesome white wine from on your patio. Easy to dispense.
Right.
Easy to clean up. You're going to be the talk of the town.
Right. So the other thing we were looking at this, and it's amazing how the market changes. Your point of view is, I'm looking at this keg and I'm thinking, for a higher cost product like a cold brew coffee, kombucha, or wine, for tabletop dispense. So, for instance, if you've got a small restaurant or something, you have this there. You can dispense with an argon cylinder or a little. There are like a home dispense argon cylinders you can buy that basically will dispense this whole keg, or you can have a regular nitrogen cylinder, and this way you don't have to have a kegerator. You can actually run this through an inline coolers, which are available if you want to get the temperature down, and you can dispense this on tabletops in a bar or a cafe if it's coffee or whatever, and not have to buy a kegerator or whatever. So now awesome. You're into draft products. So I'm thinking about like this. So I actually visited a winery the other day, and we discussed this. And I'm thinking, this is good for tabletop dispense, this, that. And the first thing they said to me, we think it will be good for retail sales. And I thought, really? And they said, yeah, because there are people who would like to use this for retail.
Sure.
For home dispense of wine.
I do.
I know you would, yeah. You'd have a beer hat with one on either side. But the thing is
it's good for building your neck muscles.
I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense, because what's the other alternative? Bag in the box.
Right.
Which is, the oxidization of that is not a good thing. You can put this in the fridge. You can pour a couple of glasses of wine, come back the next day, pour another couple of glasses of wine. The product is still as good from the first pour to the end. And you think, well, actually, that's not a bad idea, because you're talking about bulk. So your packaging costs go down considerably as well. And I was sort of blown away by that. And it's amazing that when we show these products to the customers, where we have hey, this is what you can use it for. Yeah. And they say, no, we want to use it for this.
How about this?
How about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we had a meeting yesterday, and someone said to me, well, how about we take the jockey box type of things, where you have cooling coils and whatever, have something like that without the cooling coils, and these will actually fit in the jockey boxes, right?
Yeah, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, you could put a cylinder in there, and you could have a number of, and now there are systems that you can put in there to a cooling jockey boxes, but without, or cooling coolers, I should say, don't use ice. You just plug them in.
Sure.
And you think, yeah, there's another opportunity there. So there's huge opportunities, and the imagination that we have is not always the imagination that the customer has.
Right.
And I think really this is a huge product, especially now we're dealing with curbside sales, right? And from what I understand, curbside sales are saving a lot of
for sure
breweries.
Definitely.
It's another product that you can get out there.
Yeah.
You don't have to charge a deposit for it. That's the other thing, right?
It's a beauty. You don't have to track it down.
You don't have to track it down.
It goes to a good home and you're done with it.
It's a lot lighter too. So to put this in the back of someone's car is going to be a lot easier than a keg. And because it's going to be in a box, it's not going to be rolling around all over the place, damaging whatever you have in the back. So,
what I love is, I love having beer at my house.
Yeah, cool. I know that.
What I picture in my small kegerator is I can usually just get like a 20 liter in there of one flavor.
Exactly.
Now I can get 2 of the flavors that I want in the same kegerator.
Right.
And get a little, change it up a little bit and make my life a little bit more exciting.
One for you, one for the missus, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I didn't think of that. But once again, other people come up with ideas for you.
Well, you've got to consider,
And then also, I love you brought up, I love the idea for a restaurant or a bar that is already set up for 4 draft lines.
Right.
And now they want to try something different. Their investment, it's not a huge task to take on to have a tabletop dispenser for them, to be able to pour wine, coffee for people.
Exactly.
Or, a new brewery that just opened up that they're not going to take over these 4 draft lines because those have been there forever. And if they take off old style, there's going to be a protest outside to get old style back on. This is a new opportunity. Just slap it on the little space on top of your countertop that glasses used to dry on, and now you've got a whole other tap line.
Well, just think, if you're a coffee company, and coffee companies are getting, I'm talking about coffee shops almost, right? So that you're getting innovative. And obviously you have your customers, you have your customer base, which at the moment, I guess a lot of places is still drive-through, isn't it? You're not going in. And you want to get your product, you want to increase your product out there. How do you get that out there? So, you say, well, maybe I'd like to get my cold brew coffee in at the local brew pub or a restaurant down the road or
the farmer's market.
The farmer's market, right. So this allows you to do that.
Yeah.
And because it's a smaller container, we're not dealing with a large container where the product would stay there for a long time, right? So we know that maybe one of these a day, and you can go to somewhere else that you can partner with. Maybe, there's a kombucha place and there's a coffee place, and you swap, right? And this allows you to do that. As we know, to fill these kegs, you can fill these kegs through a very simple coupler, which will cost you less than $30.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and you can use that time and time again. Maybe you could be now selling 10 litres of cold brew coffee, 10 litres of kombucha, whatever, to maybe 10 places a day. And that's a huge increase. And you know what? It's going to help those people out as well, because they also have a new product, right?
Yeah.
How many times I look at this with wine, for instance. You go into a brew pub, and most brew pubs, they're interested in selling beer. That's fair enough. There's not a problem with that. That's great. But what that means is the people who go in there
don't like beer. They got dragged there with their friends.
They drag there with their friends. Yeah. Well, they're going to have a soda.
Yeah.
Right. Now they
ginger
can have
beer.
Ginger beer. They can have kombucha. They can even have wine. So it really allows maybe these places that some people say, well, I don't want to go to a brew pub because I don't want to drink beer.
Yeah.
Right. I want to drink something else. Well, now you can.
Yeah.
Right. So with very little cost to them.
Or responsibility. What I just keep thinking is, for a retailer, it's not a hard pill to swallow.
No, it's not.
We made it smaller.
Right. And if it doesn't work out, you haven't really lost a huge amount of money. I mean, generally, when you're buying the keg, obviously the keg costs money, but as soon as you sell it, you get the money back straight away. So it's you're not investing in a huge amount of money. Let's face it, if you buy a coupler and a few hoses and you spend $35 to fill these things, and you send some out there and you get the money from them straight away, and the customer then says, well, you know what, no, we're no longer interested. You lost $35. You probably already made that.
I was going to say,
on the first sale.
But
on the first
even
sale.
so, not too bad of a risk. So I think that's kind of been our theme, is how do we help people package at the lowest, price, the lowest amount of man hours and sweat. And this is just goes with our theme of just making people's lives easier on all sorts of ends, the end consumer, the retailer, and the producer.
Yeah. People are looking at the moment, and to be fair, everybody is nobody's making the money that they were, right? So everybody's looking for opportunities to increase their sales with obviously very little putting out. No one's got loads of money to go out and, those breweries at the moment who already have a canning line, they're thanking their lucky stars that they did that,
sure,
right?
Right.
Now, for a brewery to go out there and buy a canning line because they're worried about getting curbside sales, there's a lot of money to put out there.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of money to get into this, and also to be able to get it out there, whether you're a coffee company, kombucha company, wine even, or even beer, for instance. It's little or no investment.
Right.
So you can look to increase your market share with little or no risk, really, right? Little or no risk. And we sort of encourage people, with who are in guilds and so forth. And I got on a conference call the other day. It was a panel discussion. And I'm really, one thing that came out of it was, this was in St. Louis, and it was the breweries there talking to one another. And they all said that, they always work close together, but now it's more of a family because they've had to help each other out. This could help each other out, right? I mean, if you can, transfer one beer to another quite easily from one brewery to another, or to a restaurant or whatever, whether it, I'm talking about beer, but obviously other products as well. It allows you to do that. You can, why wouldn't you, if you're a coffee company, talk to a brew pub down the road?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you're making wine, and vice versa, really. It allows you to transfer product between different types of businesses quite easily and cheaply.
Yeah, I'm super excited for us to roll this out and get it in people's hands. I know people are excited for it too.
Yeah.
So I think we're in these times. We got to roll the punches. I think this is just helping everybody out, which is great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming to visit me in Chicago this time.
No problem.
Next time I'll come back down to the laboratory and hang out with you and the new crew.
Yeah. Well, wait for the lightning strike, pull the handle, and we get another salesman.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for visiting. Always good seeing you. Have a safe trip on the road.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody that keeps watching and tuning in. Follow us for, our new stuff that we keep rolling out, and we'll be in touch. We love you guys.
Cheers.